hold on. What do you mean a notice to quit in September? What does that mean?
We told him we wanted him to move for November. We gave him a 60-day notice.
No, I get it. What I asked was, at the time you gave him the notice, was he up to date on rent?
Yes.
Okay. And then what happened?
November 11th came, which was the 60 days, and he presented us with the CDC papers.
And what did it say?
He didn't pay the rent since then.
So he was paying the rent up until you asked him to move, then he stopped.
Correct.
And what do you mean CDC papers?
COVID.
See, I didn't know there was special paperwork. What did it say? I am now advising you I have COVID, or what?
I don't have it in front of me, but there's five paragraphs. One is someone in my family has COVID and it's affected us financially. Number two, I can't find a place to live, and I will be forced to live with more people in a house, group living. There's five conditions. They're supposed to meet all five, but we cannot question them or ask them at this point if they have, show me proof you've been looking for a place. Show me proof that you really have COVID. We can't ask that.
How do you know you can't ask that?
I believe my lawyer told me that, or a lawyer told me that.
Do you have an attorney?
I have attorneys I've consulted for the free consultations.
Did anyone say they would do an eviction for you?
I get mixed responses. Mostly they would do it, but they didn't know if it would work, if it would go through. Nobody seems to know.
Brad, they did exactly what I suspected. That's what they did. What happens now? That's the question. I'm Tom Martino, and the next button's not working there, Shannon.
Looking to buy a home? Get the best team on your side. Frank Duran, the realestateman.com with RE/MAX Alliance. 303-920-1622.
Insurance agents that aren't held captive by one company. That's what Compass Insurance is all about. They find the right company for you at the best price. Call for a free quote now, 303-771-HELP.
Hi, I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. So Brad O'Brien, Lee, it happened to her. At the end of the lease, he gave her the, CDC paperwork. So I guess they're going to try it, and it's going to have to see what happens, right? I mean, what do you advise her to do now that he told her that?
Well, when was the lease up? November 11th?
It was lease. It's month to month. So she gave him 30 days was required. She gave him 60.
The landlord should be able to complete that eviction.
And it sounds screwy that all of a sudden he stopped paying and presented her with COVID paperwork. Do you think a judge would look at that? And this would be interesting because there's no way to know unless she tests it.
Yeah, a judge.
Well, and you also have to have the sheriff show up and actually go through with the eviction. If the sheriff doesn't show up, it doesn't matter as well.
Well, the sheriff just supervises.
That's what I'm saying. But if he doesn't show up, you can't go in there and actually kick the tenant out.
I heard, Brad, what about that? If you get an order to evict, the actual order to evict, does a sheriff's department deputy have to be on site?
Yes. Typically, they don't actually do the physical lifting.
No, of course not. But if let's just say they don't show up or they can't, and you can't schedule them, are you allowed? I was always told the sheriff is only to keep peace, that you still technically have the right to evict them. I don't know. I might be wrong. I have
not put that to the test, but my understanding is the sheriff does have to be there overseeing the eviction.
All right. Well, thank you. Brad O'Brien Legal Services. Look, this is still hazy right now. He's at 720-370-7388. If you ever need any help with any real estate issue, property lines, whatever, 720-370-7388. Spartacus has a comment on that United flight. Go ahead, Spartacus.
Good morning. And actually, while I was on hold, Brad hit another hot button. There's a lot of people like myself who have worked hard, saved, and invested in income realty. And the problem is you've got a lot of people out there that have just decided They didn't want to work. The one that I have,
I know,
he's over there with a truck driver, making 30% more per load with his own rig, just decided he didn't want to pay.
God.
So he's into us for $38,000, has skipped. But I don't know how in the world that little small property owners, income property owners, became the cockroach scum of the earth I'll call Brad. Anyway, back to 777.
Yes.
Couple things. Most people don't realize that front fan is basically a sophisticated propeller.
Yeah.
And it's doing 15 to 17,000 revs.
Wow.
The back section, the hot section, the turbine section, is doing 35 to 40,000 revs.
God.
And that thing comes apart. There's a lot of rotational inertia. Southwest had one, as you recall last year. Pieces of shrapnel from the blades went to the window, sucked the gal out, etc. This does not happen very often. Saturday, it actually happened twice. Both United 328 and a cargo operation on a 747-400 out of Netherlands.
Oh.
Here's the point. We train for this stuff all the time. It's kind of a no-brainer as long as there's nothing else going on, like hydraulic failure, which happened in the case of that United DC-10 232 with Al Haynes, and that's a whole other animal. And so they redesigned things. You do not want things like critical hydraulic controls lines in rotational inertia, because if that goes, now you've got flight control issues on top of the engine failure.
Right.
But by the way, there's 3 different engine options on a 777. The Pratt & Whitney 4000.
But I want to know if you can add some insight to this one. And by the way, the reason I cut you off is not because I don't want to hear it. We're running out of time. So if you want to hang on, I'll be happy to talk to you. We're also going to talk about special assessments and employment at the post office.
Get your furnace checked and cleaned before a deep freeze. Fix It 24/7 has a great deal for new customers. They'll thoroughly clean, check, adjust, and refurbish your furnace for just $39. It makes sense, and you won't find a better price for the extensive work and deep cleaning anywhere. 720-526-3939. That's 720-526-3939.
When your house is in trouble, Fix It 24/7. We'll be there on the double.
There's more to working from home than emails, so you need Wi-Fi with reliable speed, the most in-home coverage, and built-in security. You need Xfinity XFi. Get started with Xfinity Internet for $24.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year agreement, and add an XFi pod for enhanced coverage. Plus, activate advanced security free with the XFi Gateway. Go online, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit today. Requires paperless billing and autopay. Ends 3/21/21. Restrictions apply. New Performance Starter Plus customers only. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. After term, regular rates apply.
It's the Troubleshooter Show.
Help, I need somebody.
Now, Tom Martino, the Troubleshooter.
Help me if you can, I'm feeling.
Hi, I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. Welcome to the show. 303-713-TALK. 713-8255. This hour brought to you by one of my favorite people in the world. That's all I have to say, and Mark will know who I'm talking about right now.
Me.
No, Frank, second favorite. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com. Really, you need to buy or sell real estate, or you want a free market valuation of your home. And that's a real tool. And it doesn't even have to be for listing. You can just want it. He'll do it free. 303-920-1622. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com. All right, so I know that we have a lot to get to. We left off with a guy who calls himself Spartacus. I doubt his parents gave him that name. Anyway, he was talking about this jet engine that happened, because of what happened with an airline over Broomfield on its way to Hawaii. The engine came apart. One of the rotating discs came apart and destroyed the engine. And it's really scary. Oh, my God, the video is very scary. Anyway, so fortunate. No one was injured. No one's dead. It's just a miracle, the way that thing scattered debris for several miles. So, Spartacus, as I said, am I correct in assuming your mom did not name you Spartacus?
No, the NSA wants me to use that. But anyway.
The NSA wants you to use it. Okay.
There were 3 engine options on the 777.
Mm-hmm.
One was a Pratt & Whitney 4000 series.
Yeah, we don't care about this. We don't care about all that technical talk.
Okay. Here's where it goes. After the United 232 Sioux City, the hydraulic lines were severed.
They were severed by one of the broken. The jet did it, right? The jet caused that failure.
Right.
Yeah.
So they designed a containment ring.
Okay.
Kevlar and titanium to prevent what happened Saturday, both in Denver and over in the Netherlands, and it didn't work.
Okay.
That's one concern. The second concern is the one in the Netherlands, sprinkled parts all around. It was a similar fan jet.
Okay.
And they had to dump fuel and ended up winding up in Belgium. But it's pretty unusual for two airplanes to have similar, completely destructive fan
Were
jets.
they the same engine?
They were not, but they're all designed the same.
Okay.
And just like Southwest happened a year ago.
So what is your point
I think
then?
you need to pay a little more attention to containment when one of those explosive deconstructions happens.
Am I correct in saying that 777, though, was one of the first planes with only two engines that can go transatlantic?
You are correct. ETOPS. It's called ETOPS.
Okay. So anyway, so what is the point about this particular case then?
Well, the point is the only reason United's all 24 777s are grounded, they have the Pratt engine.
Oh.
Everything else with the GE90 and the Rolls-Royce Trent, they're still out flying around. 14,
Okay, so the
legs.
similar engines are grounded just in case there was a problem with that design, with that manufacturing?
Right, same manufacturer. Back to your attorney, Brad, that called. I really think Pratt & Whitney's going to have an issue here.
Why?
The thing is, it's proving damages because everybody's fine. The majority of them got on another plane, another 777, with the Pratt & Whitney's.
But why do you think Pratt & Whitney will have a problem? Do you think they had a manufacturing issue?
You know, I don't know, because if you ever watch the way they manufacture these things, it is unbelievable. Each one of those fan blades has to be like within 1,000th of a gram.
Oh, my God.
Weight.
It's amazing.
Rotational inertia.
You know, I often wonder why companies take on such responsibility, because there are some areas of life.
The great mighty dollar.
No, but I thank goodness they do it. Oh, okay, so...
The other issue that you might have noticed is, and what I can't figure out, they've got fire suppression. You pull the fire bottles when somebody says there's a fire out there, and you got an engine on fire. And it worked, but then the fire came back, and you got a lot of combustible materials out there.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing.
Can they reroute that fuel to the other wing, or no way, because they just took off heading to Hawaii?
Well,
There's nowhere to route it.
What we wanted to know is, does each tank...
10 minutes after departure when they hit the
I know.
Field,
Here's what we're asking.
13,500?
Here, we're just asking a very simple question. Does each wing tank feed just one engine, or do they both feed both?
No, you can cross-feed when necessary in single-engine operation.
Good.
With the fire going on, would they ever drop the fuel, though? Because if they did, they could explode the whole plane.
The deal is, you've got to hit the fuel shut-off. You've got to get the hydraulic line pump shut off, because that's all combustible material. And that's the concern. If you utilize the fire suppression, fire goes out, but then it comes back on. You don't know how much longer you have. There's nothing more serious than fire on an engine in the sky underneath, 200,000 pounds of jet fuel. So you got to get the thing on the ground now.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your comments. 303-713-TALK. Suzanne, I want you to ask him off the air. What did he mean when he said the NSA wanted him to use that name? He hung up. Because I sniffed out like cuckoo.
Yeah, but he knew what he was talking about. There's no doubt.
Cuckoo.
Boy, you're quick to jump.
Susan. Susan. What's going on, Susan? What is your comment? I mean, what is your problem with a special assessment?
Okay, and there might not be anything we can do, but my son bought a condo about a month ago, and the roof has hail damage from a year or two ago, but they didn't fix it last year. And now because he wasn't the owner at the time, the insurance won't pay for it.
That's
Is
right.
there anything about the closure that should have happened?
Usually when you take on, when you buy a condo, if there's an assessment from the past, your insurance will not cover that assessment for an insurable loss because it wasn't during their period. That's right. They don't have to. They do not have to.
Shouldn't they have fixed it last year?
Well, what they should have done is, whether they fixed it or not, they should have had the assessment at that time.
Right.
They should have issued the assessment. They didn't issue the assessment. So, but there's nothing. He should have found that out when he was buying it.
Yeah, right, but he didn't. There's a neighbor that has the same problem, and they did not disclose that.
Okay, hold on now. It may be a disclosure issue. It may be. But then again, it may not be. I don't know how much. I don't think they have to disclose that. I don't know.